Good morning, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
And welcome back to another video. Now, despite what it looks like, we're actually not really on an adventure.
Yeah, we're like an hour away from home right now.
Yeah, we kind of just wanted to get outside and do a little bit of camping, but nothing too exciting is actually going on. So we figured this would be a good opportunity for us to just walk you guys through every single piece of gear and equipment and everything else that we carry in our adventure mobile, because we've been getting a lot of questions about it, especially about our rooftop tent. So we're going to show you guys all of that, as well as everything else in today's video. But
yeah, and hopefully it'll give you guys some ideas on how you can do it yourself.
Yeah, but before we get into it, I do just want to let you guys know that we have a lot of things here, and you don't really need any of this stuff. So the last thing we want to do is discourage you guys from getting outside because you feel like, oh, I can't afford a rooftop tent, or I can't get that, or I don't have, you honestly don't need it. Every adventure that we've been going on in our videos, you could literally get there in like a 2-wheel drive Honda Civic. So yeah, just get your tent, your sleeping bag, some food and water, and you'll be totally fine.
More than anything, our channel, we want to encourage you guys that you can do anything that we do. It's like not just us that can do these things. Like anybody.
We know
can
how
do
it goes. You watch these videos and you're like, like if only I had a rooftop tent, I'd be able to do cool stuff like that. It's not true. Like, just put a tent on the ground and you'll be fine.
Yep.
So with that being said, let's talk about all the cool stuff we have. All right, so obviously the first thing we need to talk about is my beautiful red truck. So this is a 2016 Nissan Frontier. When I bought it, it had like 24,000 miles on it. So it's more or less pretty much stock. I haven't really changed anything on it. I'm pretty sure the dealership put like a 2-inch lift on it. But otherwise, besides adding a couple of seat covers to the front, I haven't really changed it at all. And it's been working pretty much perfect for like all these little adventures we're going on. Now, we're not doing anything like super extreme. A lot of overlanding people out there, they're like climbing through huge mud pits and over boulders. And like for us, we just wanted a vehicle that was going to allow us to go to new places so that we don't have to buy an Airbnb or a hotel, and you know, we could bring our bikes and our backpacking gear and go on different little adventures. So yeah, we're not doing anything too crazy in the truck. Now in the future, eventually, I'd like to probably do a little bit of a suspension upgrade because we're starting to add more and more weight to the back of the truck, especially with the weight of the rooftop tent as well. Eventually, I'm gonna need to put some new suspension on it, but for now, we just got tired of kind of working on it and we wanted to just start using it. So yeah, we kind of put a couple things on hold so that we could actually go on adventures. You know, a lot of people buy an adventure mobile and then they work on it for 6 months and never actually get to use it. So we didn't want to deal with any of that, but I've added the Lear 100XR cap, and this thing was kind of a game changer just for, first of all, being able to put the rooftop tent on top, but also it allows us to lock everything in the back of the truck. If we do decide to go on like a backpacking trip or something like that, we can just park it at the trailhead for a couple of nights, lock it up, and we know that nobody's gonna steal it. But yeah, it's super cool. It stores all of our stuff, which we will talk about, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys the cap and yeah, kind of show you how it works. Super easy. It's got the lock on the front there. It also has a dome light on the inside so that at night, I don't know if you guys can see that, but at night you can, you know, kind of do all your work and see everything that you have in the back of the truck. So yeah, as far as the vehicle goes, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I guess now we'll talk about the rooftop tent.
Alright, this is our home, our favorite part of the truck. At least it's my favorite part. I don't know about Cody. But this model is part of the Owl series made by Ferretti. And there's 4 models that you can get. So it's the standard, which that's the one that we have. You can get one that has a sunroof on it. You can get one that has a rack on it. You can have one that has solar panels on it. But we got this guy. Also, you can choose from 3 different types of tents. So you can get like a soft shell, you can get a clam, which actually we might want to get that later. Or you can get the pop-up hard shell. And we wanted the hard shell because number one, it's super easy to set up. Obviously, like you guys see our videos, it takes like 10 seconds to set up, which is super cool. And then the pop-up is really easy too. And it's also really sleek on the truck, so hard shell was the way to go for us. First things first though, before we get into the tent, this ladder is pretty sweet. I don't know, it's just like a little kid's dream come true to have a ladder into your bed. And then also we have this little bag that goes on the outside of it. So you put your dirty shoes in there so you don't get our home dirty. So let's get into it. Welcome to the top of our truck. This is our rooftop tent, and it's really, really cool. When Cody and I first popped this up and got in here, we were like super surprised on how much room there is in here. It's definitely an upgrade from sleeping on the ground in a tent, but yeah, let's just get into it. So first things first, there's a ton of storage in here. There's a storage space on the roof here. There's a storage bag right behind me there. And then there's storage bags right by our heads on both sides. You know, we can put our phones in there, or dirty clothes, or dirty socks. So yeah, tons of room for storage. Then the mattress. The mattress is super comfortable, and it's pretty large. So obviously, like Cody and I can fit in here pretty easily. You could probably fit 2 people and maybe a kid. So super roomy that way. Then obviously you guys went through our front door, and then we have a back door as well. And then the back door has an awning on it. To be honest, Cody and I haven't used the awning yet, so we don't really know how it works, but it looks super cool, so you have the opportunity to do that. And then we have the 2 side windows here, so window there, and then there's one by our heads back there. What we usually do when we're sleeping at night, as long as it's warm enough at night, we'll usually close the front and back door and then slightly open the windows just to get some more ventilation and airflow in here, because it does build up condensation pretty easily, but it does get super dark. So if you do zip up all of the windows and all the doors, it gets really dark in here. So for those people who like to sleep in the like pitch black dark, this will be perfect for you. And again, it does stay pretty warm in here. The material on the tent is pretty thick, so it stays warm. You're not like freezing, and we haven't really experienced like being in super cold weather, but it was like 45 degrees last night and we were like really comfortable. So there's that. Oh, one more thing. There's a light behind you. It's got a little bedroom light, but obviously it doesn't work because our batteries are dead and we haven't switched them out. So yeah, that's our rooftop tent, and we love it.
So the last thing that's kind of on the outside of the truck that I wanted to just quickly mention is our bike rack. So this is the Yakima Hold Up 2, and I don't know, it's a pretty standard hitch rack. It does the job for us. It has 3 positions. So this is the down position, which allows you to get inside your truck either if the bikes are on, or if they're not on, it allows you to drop the tailgate down. But then it has obviously the standard bike carrying position, and it has the up position for when there's no bikes on it. So when we're at camp, we usually take the bikes off and just put it all the way down. That way we can access the back of the truck. So yeah, pretty simple. Not really a whole lot to say about the bike rack. But now we're gonna get into some of my favorite stuff, which is, you know, all the electronics and the camping goodies. So yeah, but before we do that, we're gonna have to pull all these bins out because we're living the bin life. So if you guys have watched any of our adventure videos, you know that Victoria and I are big time food people. The reason we're able to make all of those amazing meals that you guys see in our videos is because of this big boy right here. This is actually our fridge. It's a 75-liter fridge made by Alpicool, which I had actually never heard of Alpicool. Most people who do like overlanding, they have either ARB or Dometic fridges, but I found this company Alpicool. I reached out to them and They were super awesome in sending me this fridge, and I have to say I have no complaints about it whatsoever, and I'm actually stoked to recommend it to you guys because those other two brands, they're super expensive, and the Alpicool so far seems to work just as well. So it's super awesome. It has a digital display. You can control all your temperature controls. It even has Bluetooth capabilities. So when the fridge is back here and plugged in, I can actually check it while I'm driving on my phone's app to make sure that it's cooling and getting enough power and that it hasn't come unplugged or anything like that. So yeah, overall, it's just super sick. It's super durable. As you can see, it has this handle here, which is super convenient for pulling it out of the truck. And it has wheels in the back too, so that you can kind of roll it around if you want to, take it around camp or anything like that. But quickly, we'll show you guys inside. So this is our fridge. There's not really too much in there because we already ate our meal from last night, but it's really nice because it has fridge and freezer. So yeah, we can keep veggies frozen, we can keep meats frozen, and it's just been a total game changer in terms of like being able to be off the grid and stay out for a lot longer because, if you have a regular cooler, eventually your ice is gonna melt and you're gonna need to go back to town to get more ice. Whereas this, we can just keep it plugged in, we can use solar, and we can pretty much stay out as long as we have enough food. We don't have to go back and, restock on ice or anything like that. So it's been super cool. Now, as far as actually powering it, I found a little bit of like a janky solution, but it seems to work super well. So I'm gonna close this up real quick so that I can show you guys how we're actually plugging this in. So as far as powering our fridge, now originally I was gonna build some 12-volt DC ports back here, but it got to be a little bit more of a process than I wanted to, and again, we just wanted to get out and go on adventures. So I found this little thing right here. It is a trailer hitch port that converts it to two 12-volt DC ports. So as you can imagine, it's super easy. You just come down here, plug that into the trailer port, and plug the fridge into one of the DC ports. And then when the truck is running, I will have power to my fridge. So yeah, it's a super easy solution. Then I just close this down and I kind of just let this cable dangle out, which obviously isn't the most ideal, but so far it's never fallen out and my fridge always stays powered whenever we're driving. So it's just been super convenient, haven't had to drill anything, and it really just works super well. So of course, I'll go ahead and link that down in the description below because it was kind of hard to find. So yeah, but otherwise it works super well. And then I can just check the app and make sure that the fridge is running while we're, out on the road driving from one spot to the other. So yeah, that's our fridge and that's how we're getting power to it. Speaking of power, this little guy right here is how we are powering literally every device in our truck. So this is the Rockman 200 watt inverter slash power station made by Paxess. So we use this to charge our cameras, our laptops, our phones. I can use it to plug in the fridge. It even has an AC port where you could plug in any of your other devices. And honestly, it has just been working super well. Now we pair this with one of their 60 watt solar panels, which we actually forgot at the house for today's video, but yeah, we do pair it with one of the solar panels, and whenever we have sun, we try to keep it charged up so that we can keep all of our devices charged up. Now, like I said, I can actually use this to power the fridge, which is super cool. Just plug it into the DC port here, and as you can see, the fridge powers up, which is super nice. But one thing I would keep in mind if you guys are planning on using something like this for your refrigerator is that 200 watts isn't really enough. Originally, the people at Paxess, they told me 200 watts would power my fridge, and they weren't wrong. It totally does power the fridge. The problem is, at night when you're sleeping, this thing will die pretty quickly. It only lasts like 4 or 5 hours when obviously you need it to last like, 10 or 12. So keep that in mind if you're planning on using something like this to power a fridge. You might want to check out maybe their 500 watt version, but otherwise this works super well and it'll pretty much allow you to power all of your devices indefinitely as long as you have sunlight. So we can be off the grid, we can power the fridge, charge all of our camera batteries, charge our phones, and really never have to leave our campsite as long as we've got a little bit of sunlight to charge up the station right here. But yeah, it's been super awesome. The people at Paxess actually hooked me up with this product and I have no complaints. I mean, it's keeping us going through all of our adventures. So definitely something you're gonna wanna have if you are out doing little adventures like this. Now, like I said, Victoria and I don't really plan on doing anything too sketchy in the truck. We're more or less just gonna go on like pretty chill adventures. But just in case, we do have some recovery equipment. I think it's important to at least have a little something in case you get into a sticky situation. So these traction boards are actually made by a company called X-Bull, and you'll use these if you ever get stuck in like the mud or the sand or anything like that. You kind of just wedge them under your tires, and then you'll hopefully be able to drive out of whatever you're stuck in. So for now, we kind of just keep them all the way in the back of the truck. I just made a little DIY solution to hang them up on the bed rails, but that way they're out of the way, they don't rattle around, but we have them just in case, because you never know, you might see something cool and end up getting yourself stuck. So yeah, we have a couple of traction boards. Now the worst part is getting them all the way back into the truck.
All right, so this is probably my second favorite part of the truck, and that is all things bath and kitchen. So the first thing is our water. So this is a 6-gallon water jug made by Igloo. We honestly just found it on Amazon. It was cheap and we just went for it, and it works okay. Then we have this bucket, and if you saw our previous video, you know exactly what's in this bucket. And this is for our shower. So this shower here is the electric shower made by Ivation, but you fill up this water, or this bucket with water, stick this guy in there, and then you have a shower there. So we just keep the shower in there to kind of keep everything in its place. Then we have our trash bucket. You don't have to see our trash, that's embarrassing, but we have just like a grocery bag to line it. And then I like to put the cover on there too, just so it doesn't smell bad in the truck. So keep the cover on there, keep the scents away. All that. Then our next thing is our collapsible sink. So I just searched on Amazon for this, pretty easy to find, but really what we do is just fill it a little bit with water. We don't want to fill too much because we don't want to waste our water, but we just use biodegradable soap as our dishwashing soap and then wash that and all that. To be honest, the system of how I'm washing the dishes isn't as good as I'd like it to be, but it does the job for now. But I think I might get another one, so I have 2 of them, so one to wash, one to rinse, but we'll figure that one out later. On to our bins. So this bin here is all things kitchenware. So this is where our pots and pans go, our plates and our bowls, and also I am kind of still figuring this out. This organization thing is not as good as I'd like it to be, because you kind of have to take out everything to get to the bottom, and it's just not as organized as I'd like it to be. But again, it works, it does the job, so this is what we have for now. But again, it has our bowls and our pots and pans, our forks and our spoons and our kettles for our coffee, which we need desperately right now. But yeah, so that's this bin. And then also this kind of converts into our table. So this is like a dual system right now for us. But this is our table. Not the best table. It's a little too low for Cody especially. But again, it works just fine for right now. And this is all things dry foods. So I'll keep our oatmeal in there and some peanut butter, some instant rice, and all that jazz. And that just kind of stays in there. And that's bin life for you. All right, so Cody bought me the stove, and if you watch any of our videos, you know that I do all of the cooking, and I absolutely love it, so it's been really fun for me to like kind of find new meals and ideas to do outside of the truck. So this is our cooking stove. It is a Coleman Triton 2 cooking stove. I don't know, it sounds like a superhero name, so anyways. Coleman Triton 2, that's the stove. But it's kind of funny because my mom actually watched one of our videos. She's like, oh, my dad used to use one of those cooking stoves like when we went camping when we were kids. And I'm like, oh, well, if you've had it that long, then like it must be really good. So it should last forever. If you look here though, like if I look at other people's videos and it's like completely dirty like on the inside there, and like we haven't used it often enough to make it dirty, but I also want to keep it a little clean. But anyways, what's pretty nice about this is that we're actually making coffee right now because it's coffee time. What's nice about this is that you can adjust the heat on here. So obviously you adjust the flame and adjust the heat for your food, and obviously it is fueled by this propane tank here. But yeah, I mean, this should last forever. It's super durable, and I don't know, it's been fun to cook with it.
So you guys know, Victoria is the chef of the family, but if there's one thing that I'm pretty good at, it's the coffee. Now I know YouTubers, they always do all their coffee and coffee B-roll and whatever, so I don't want to wear you guys out with it. So let's just quickly get through it. This is called the Aeropress. A lot of you guys have been asking me about it, and it is by far the best way to make coffee, period. Like, we use this thing at home all the time, but even more so, the best way to make coffee when you're outdoors, whether you're in the truck or backpacking or whatever. It's super easy. You just set it up like this, which is technically upside down from the way it's invented, but set it up like this, set it down, put your coffee beads in there, fill it up with water, stir it a little bit, grab your filter, grab your cap, put a filter in the cap, screw it on the top, wait about a minute or two, then flip it over onto your mug and squeeze the coffee through the filter. And I promise, it might be the best cup of coffee you've ever had, but if not, it'll definitely be the best cup of coffee you've ever had in the outdoors. So if you don't have an Aeropress and you consider yourself an outdoors person, what are you even doing? But seriously, you should get one because it's super compact, super packable, and yeah, it's just like the best way to, start your morning, basically. So Aeropress is absolutely sick, and now we're gonna make some coffee. All right, so I think we pretty much got you guys through all the important things that you might want to know about the truck. There's a couple of little things we didn't talk about, like first aid kit, tools. I have an air compressor, but otherwise,
Toiletries.
Yeah, otherwise you guys know pretty much all of the cool stuff now. But like we said before, just keep in mind you don't need all of these things to go on cool adventures. Actually, Victoria and I used to go on adventures in the back of my Dodge Nitro. We would just literally camp in the truck. Like, here's a photo for you guys to check it out. But yeah, so that just goes to show you don't need a bunch of fancy stuff to get out and enjoy the outdoors. So otherwise, I think that's pretty much all we had for you guys.
Yeah, but all these items will be linked in the description below.
Of course, we will link everything down in the description below. And if you have any questions, you can leave a comment or send me a direct message on Instagram. But now we're gonna enjoy the usual, our oatmeal. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video. So peace out.
Bye guys.